Hey, hello there.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, and thank you for a great speech just
Thanks.
out there. It was really inspiring, really motivating.
Thanks.
Uh, really nice to hear those kind of stories. Actually, I'm very motivated now myself.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
I'm a runner myself, so it only gives me a punch. And lately I'm giving myself excuses that my daughter is sick a lot. I need to be with her, so that's why I cannot go run and so on. So that gives me a punch that no more excuses. I need to go back
Yeah.
to my running. But thank you to agreeing to join us on the Agile Couch here and taking your time. Actually, I was taking notes all over your speech, so sorry if I will be looking at my
That's
notebooks
okay.
because as inspiring as it is, I want to try and take it to a business environment or to the Agile environment, as we are now in the Agile conference, right? And I had a lot of thoughts that were an aha moments for me when you were telling your story here. About a lot of things that's related with how it works when we do Agile. So the very first thing I noted is trust, and how important is trust between coaches, consultants, maybe sometimes managers, leaders, the ones who come to the company and organization and lead the way towards transformation or new ways of working or whatever that might be. Similar as you told, it's the trust is probably the first thing that needs to happen there, right? But anyhow, you see those parallels, and anyhow you tried out, those lessons you've learned in the while you were going through the journey and still going through this journey in a business environment or anything that maybe even was an agile environment.
So the question, what is the question?
So do you see any business parallels to
Of course.
yes to the story you just gave us, the trust and all the other things, maybe letting go and these things, and have you saw this sort of also taking an impact in the business world, the same things?
Sure. Sure. So I would take that into I would say two main things. First of all, is that everything in business is based on relationships. I mean, when we do business with people, and you can take that to being a business person, or you can take that into an organization environment, or some kind of ecosystem. Basically, everything that you do and the people that you interact with are people that you have a certain level of relationship. And the people that you trust the most are the people that you will usually engage into more business relationships or professional relationships, because these are the people you would like to work with. And so I would say that whenever entering that kind of a new environment or a new task or a new something goal that you have to achieve, if you invest in the relationships that you have with people, they would be more willing to help you and collaborate with you, rather than putting your ego and trying to lead by force or lead by hierarchy. And so I would say relationships with other people are the basics of everything else that comes later. Having said that, building trust and building relationships takes time, and it takes a lot of patience sometimes to be able to build that necessary trust to achieve our goals. And so once you understand that it takes time and it takes patience, you know that long term, you have to define for yourself which are the people, which are the goals, which are long-term goals, and to put your energy over there. This is what I would say. I would also say that I personally believe that setting high level of standard in terms of being with integrity and being an honest person and do the right things will eventually help you to build good relationships, to surround yourself with the right people, and will create the right outcomes later on. So it takes effect on marriage and of education and children, but it also takes effect on professional work and business and being a business person.
All right. By the way, I see participants joining. So if you have any questions, you're welcome also to ask those in the Huva platform. So don't be shy. But it's good that you mentioned the time aspect, right? That trust takes time, and relationships takes time. To build those relationships, figure out the relationships. It all takes time. But we're living in a extremely fast-paced world right now. And we want everything now. We tried it out. We don't like it. We lose it. We maybe go on trying something else. How to sometimes stop here and say, tell yourself that it may take time. Sort of give yourself a break from running and trying basically everything on a very fast pace. So how sometimes motivate yourself that this needs take time. This needs to take patience. How would you, any suggestions from your experience from that?
Well, the things that I do, I try to first of all be aware of how my current reality looks like, and every once in a while I try to take a look on like a snapshot of my life and to ask myself, is this a life I'm satisfied with? Is my daily routine satisfied me in a way that I reach my goals, I do the things that I want to do, I feel the feelings that I want to feel on a daily basis? Or am I a stressful person, an angry person without any patience towards other people? Do I have healthy or not healthy relationships? So I think awareness is very important to begin with. Next step for me is to try to create time with the purpose of just thinking and reflecting. I think it has a lot of meaning especially in our world, which is, we're working 200% of our energy, putting on so many things. We have so many tasks and so many, push notifications from everywhere. So taking this self-time, self-reflection time, I think it's extremely important as well. Meditation, mindfulness, sports, all of these things that enable us to reflect on ourselves and not be worried about other people. And end of the way is that if we only invest our efforts in short-term things, we will never get this long-term goal that we want to get. And so the biggest things are created through long-term investment, not right away. It's so one has to understand, and it's a kind of maturity. It requires maturity in order to be able to have that kind of mindset.
I completely agree. I always tell my clients who I work with or the company where I work with, the time to time, do your own health checks, stop and see where are you, what are you happy with, what if you want to change the direction or anything. That's sometimes you need those sort of a pause, all the world going around you, and see basically the picture where you're at, because sometimes you just need to realize that it's actually a very beautiful picture around you. You don't see it while you're running through it so fast, right? One of the last questions I actually have for you is about losing this track. As you mentioned, and in your story, those last 35 meters, your father sort of lost the strap to Bezos to finish him on his own. How to understand, in your perspective, when is the time? When is the right time that you need to lose the strap? When you need to let the person, the company, the team, anyone just go on? What are those moments or something that tells you that it is time?
Well, I think that it's a very good question, and I see it two points of view. One is the viewpoint of the person that I guide, in our case, Beza. So I look at Beza and I see the process that he goes through and how he develops and how he grows and the abilities and the things that he acquires. And at some point, I will have like a sense about what he's capable of doing, and when is the next step where I can up the bar, when I can set a higher or more complex goals. So it's very intuitive to identify, but there's not like a rule that I can give. When does this happen in every case? I would say, again, based on the process that we went through, I knew him well enough and deep enough to identify what is the point, the tipping point where he's stronger, more independent, and I see other things in his life that are cohesive with up the bar. Another point of view is my point of view. And in that sense, I mean the process that I go through together with Beza. And I told in the end of my talk, I talked about not feeling sorry for other people and not patronizing, and the way that we treat other people. Sometimes, usually when we meet a person, so we just see him, and then we have all of these stereotypes and the things that we learned from before. And then the process helped us to sometimes contradict the a priori perceptions that we have. And so I would say that Beza taught me not to feel sorry for him. He taught me to treat him as a capable person. And I went through an internal process that at the end of it enabled me to look at him as a capable person, to not be afraid to release him, to not be afraid to do challenging things together with him. And so it was a learning process for me that helped me. And I believe that still people, when they meet him and they see him, and even though they know that he got to the Olympics and he went to Mount Everest and everything, because they don't really, they didn't really went through that process, they will, in many cases, feel sorry for him, etc., because he's blind or because of his background. But there's no reason for that. The only reason is that they haven't went through that internal process that a person should go through. So it's like the knowledge of the other person, and it's also an internal process of trusting your team members that they're strong enough and capable enough to do their tasks and to be a part of the goal of the team.
Wonderful, thank you. For sort of probably the last question today, I have, maybe I missed that. Maybe you told that in your speech. So sorry if I will repeat myself. But Beza, with yourself, you achieved incredible things. Participating in Olympics, Mountain Everest. What's next? Are you do you plan any other ultimate achievements and these kind of things together, or you let him go already and he's now maybe thinking of that on his own? Where are you going forward?
Okay, so I really like that question, and I get asked that quite a lot, and what I always answer that. First of all, reality is that we're not a competitive athletes anymore. We're comparing to other athletes, we're pretty old now. And also Beza got injured about, I think 10 years ago before London Paralympics. So we quit like the competitive field, but Beza became a physical education teacher. He teaches the sports in high school, in regular high school. He works with 16 years old. And I established 180, and I work with people with disabilities, and I established a social platform. And so I want to put emphasis on what changed. And I always say, and I learned that with time, Olympics is something that passes. It belongs to my past. I was there, I spent there a few days, and then I went back and moved on with my life. Same for Everest. I was there for, you're on the summit for a few moments, and then you move on to your journey. So what really matters is not that you were for a few days or few moments in a certain point. What actually matters is what is your journey, what is your way, what is the path that you choose to go through. And so Beza took that experience and translated it into education and working with other people. And I took it to my perspective and translated it also to social impact and education and helping other people to do sport without having to be in the Olympics. And so we are always developing. And I think that the most important thing for me is to keep developed, and there would probably be other things in the future that are not existing now. But my mindset is trying to always learn new things and develop myself and do new things, and not to be in stagnation, not to be in the same place all the time.
So it's not only about achieving, it's about figuring out what an impact of this achievement were to your life and what it could lead you towards to.
Exactly.
Thank you once again, Gai Ben, for joining us. Was a wonderful opportunity to meet you and to talk to you in person. Hopefully, maybe sometime even in live atmosphere we can see each other. So good luck. Good luck with your initiative. I guess a lot of people are inspired after today, and best of luck also to Beza on his further journey. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Venice. Thank you. Bye bye.